So thanks for joining us today. Client success story number 2 is with Amelia from Undercover Architect. Amelia is, I've got to say, one of my favourite clients. Working with her was an absolute hoot. She came to me a little bit stressed over a workshop that she had to put together to spruik her up and coming course.
Understatement of the century.
Yeah. And we ended up working on her whole course. But listen, she describes what she does a lot better than I do. So I'm going to hand over to her. Hi, Amelia. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello, Maria. Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. So tell us in one sentence, what is your course and how is it changing lives?
So I am Amelia Lee, as you said, and I'm an architect, and my course is called Your Reno Roadmap, and it's basically that. It's a roadmap for your renovation. So it's a introductory session that's a personalised assessment of your property and action steps for you to take on your renovation. The course itself is a step-by-step guide to how to renovate well and get a great outcome, and the things you need to know and when you need to know them, and who you've got to talk to and how to avoid the pitfalls. And then there's also a Facebook group where I run regular office hours to answer questions and help people on their journey.
Awesome. And if there's one thing I know about having been through your course with a fine-tooth comb, is that there is not a single pebble left unturned. And I remember thinking when I was working on your course with you, my goodness, there's no extent to the stuff that you don't know that you don't know. If I was ever contemplating doing a renovation, or if any of my friends are ever contemplating a renovation, I'd be sending them to you straight up. It's so comprehensive. There's just so much there. So how did you find all this knowledge, or where did it all come from?
Well, so as I said, I'm an architect. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. So I've worked with, hundreds of clients, and my husband and I have also done 3 renovations of our own that we lived in and raised babies in and all sorts of things. And I realised a few years ago that every time I tackled a renovation, I was following a step-by-step system. And as strange as it sounds, when you actually sort of start to realise that you are following a process, it's then a case of, well, how can I teach this to people so that I can make their journey a lot easier and literally simplify the process for them. The big thing with renovating is that people feel that it's one kind of momentous decision, but it's actually not. It's a whole series of lots of little sequential decisions, and that's what really overwhelms homeowners. And I see people very easily ending at 3 or 4 steps down the wrong path just because they made a wrong turn or got the wrong piece of advice. And so creating this program was really about how do I explain this system as simply as possible so that I can show people the steps that they need to follow so that they can avoid all of those pitfalls that generally happen when you don't know what you don't know. So,
and that's exactly, it's a story for so many professionals that I work with. It's about tapping into that inner resource bank of knowledge that you've accumulated over 20 years being in the industry. Knowing what you do one-on-one is like in a bit of an intuitive process when you've been at it for this long, but then translating it into a one-to-many approach or into a group learning experience, like, well, where do I start and how do I put it into a system where it's going to actually make sense? So I know when you first came to me, the workshop you were stressing out about just a little bit was the promo for, sort of showing people what the course was about. And what we ended up doing was going along and taking sort of the top from all of the units so that people would really get a broad understanding of what was in everything, and then deep diving into a couple of them, the ones where people really were struggling with, or the ones your clients really wanted a little bit more information on. So how did you find that process?
Yeah, well, that was amazing because I remember when I came to you, I had booked the date for the workshop and I had the venue, and I was then starting to kind of go down a spiral of, oh my gosh, I actually have to pull this thing together. And I knew that I wanted the workshop to be really valuable for people if that's all that they did, but also wanted it to be a great conversion tool for people to join the program as well. So working with you was really a case of how do we actually package up this content so that it does those two things without you giving everything away and people not joining the program at all. And it was also about, making sure that I had an accountability framework too, that I didn't leave it all to the last minute, which is what I would have done if I'd been on my own. So I knew that I knew the content, but I've also always thought of myself as a nervous public speaker. So I was really worried about, how I would have actually stood up and presented. And working with you was really amazing insofar as, not only going through the content and streamlining it in a way that was going to be really actionable and useful for the people that attended, but also just giving me the confidence to know that when I actually did stand in front of all those people at the workshop, I I didn't have to worry about the presentation because it was great, you know, because of the way that we'd worked together. All I had to worry about was being present and, you know, working with people on that level. And so it just liberated so much of the stress that would have come otherwise. And, you know, you had some awesome ideas in terms of just how to craft the content, about getting attendee surveys so that they could give me feedback on the information that they wanted to hear, which they absolutely loved because they really felt it was a tailored experience then, about how to put together the collateral on the day, and they got these beautiful folders and they loved it. And, you know, so, you know, even down to little things like getting that interaction out of people and, you know, handing out highlighters and all that kind of stuff to get that. I was just amazed at, on the day, the level of interactivity it got from people and how much positive feedback I got as a result. I've run 2 workshops and each of them have had a 50% conversion rate into the program. Ooh. So they've just been extraordinary in terms of an experience for me and an experience for the people that attend. So
and your course is no like $49 course either. It's gone up and just got up in price again, hasn't it?
It has. So when you and I worked together, it was at $990, and I knew that it was worth more than that. It's very comprehensive, as you say, and when you're renovating, it can save tens of thousands of dollars having that information. So and it's a big commitment for me to offer that program as well, because I do run the office hours in the Facebook group. So, but I didn't feel that I could just jack up the price without, you know, adding more value to it and making sure that it was as actionable as it could possibly be. And so working with you, the feedback I've been getting from members was that they wanted to have ways that they could put the information into action. And so you worked with me to create a whole series of worksheets that are all editable PDFs in the program now, and they're getting great feedback. And I felt really confident then in putting up the price and knowing that I had made the course that much better to be able to confidently do that as well. So it's just been extraordinary for both me as a professional working at a one-to-many level, having most of my career worked at that one-to-one level, and also for knowing that the people who buy the program and come to the workshop are getting extraordinary value and you know, getting really useful information that's going to change the way that they renovate their homes and the outcome that they'll end up living in as a result.
For sure. And I think from what I'm just hearing from you, I think it's very similar for a lot of my professionals, is that they feel really very confident in the content because they've been doing it for years and years. But when they come to that situation where they all of a sudden have to turn into an educator or a trainer or a facilitator of learning or a guide or a mentor, or call it whatever you will, but they get to that point where they're like, wow, I'm an architect, I'm not a teacher. Or, you know, I'm whatever, fill in the word professional, but I don't know that I'm actually qualified to teach groups of people. And from what I was just hearing from you, that was a big part of you moving forward with this program, upgrading it, and then being able to charge what it's actually worth. I still don't think it's what it's worth, but anyway, I still think you should be charging like triple. But anyway, moving right along. But it's a big step, right? Going, oh wow, okay, so actually I am capable of teaching this stuff. It's not, teaching isn't rocket science, but when you've got the confidence, then you can really start moving forward.
Oh, exactly. And I think too, when you've spent your whole, you know, the big bulk of your career, you know that when you work one-to-one with somebody and you can be alongside them, you can fill all the gaps. But at that, you know, the goal with Undercover Architect has always been to help as many homeowners as possible, but have a business that doesn't have a lot of staff. You know, I've got young kids and I wanted to make sure that I can work flexibly, and that means that I'm working at a one-to-many level. But that's a whole different way of working. And so, you know, being able to work with you and get that experience from an educational point of view about how do I craft all the expertise and experience and knowledge that I have in a way that is actionable and useful to the people that are being taught it, made me feel legitimate, you know, made me feel that this was actually possible, that I can do this, that this can make a change, that it's worth it, you know, and that people are going to get value from it. And that's been the feedback. And, you know, before we jumped on, you and I were talking about, you know, I just had some really exciting you know, start to the year with Deborah Hutton. She's become a member of the course and is sharing Undercover Architect content on her website, Renovation Rookie, and renovationrookie.com.au. It's really worth checking out because it's actually following her journey of her renovation. She's working with an architect in Sydney, but I'm going to be helping support her community in what they need to know. And, you know, to get feedback from somebody at sort of that level who's who's worked a lot in the lifestyle industry to say your course is actually really great, and and want to be getting behind it, I think is, that to me is such a great measure of the work that you and I did with each other.
Absolutely.
To really package it up in a way that that makes it so useful. So yeah.
Oh, totally. And what an amazing success, and congratulations. Woo-hoo, bit of a party. I mean,
thank you.
I mean, I know that a lot of that as well is her team looking inside of your course and realizing that it was legit. You're not just I've got a bit of a course online. For someone like Deborah Hutton's team to look inside of it and take it on board and to start promoting it. I mean, that's huge. What an amazing success for you to the start of this year. So congratulations on that. Well done. It's all down to hard work, young lady.
Thank you.
Amazing amount of hard work you put in.
It's great. It's great. And it's, it's interesting because they did a similar thing of when I first spoke to them, because it's $1,880 now. And in the world of online courses, that's not cheap, So, but as of, it was interesting. And that was their initial reaction was, oh, that's actually expensive. And when I explained what was in it and they had a look inside it, they were like, oh my gosh, this is incredibly good value, So I think it's just that solo entrepreneur thing where you're doing your own thing and you go, is this really worth this amount of money? And, you can do the calcs of how many hours it took you to create and all that kind of stuff and what your normal hourly rate is. But there's still that self-doubt of the legitimacy of it.
Yeah.
And to know, like, I can 100%, 150% stand behind and know that content has all been crafted because you and I did that work together. Yeah. And I got the expertise that filled the gap of what I didn't have to make sure that it was going to be the best that it could possibly be. So, yeah, it's just been pivotal in the way that I've felt about it as a product and the future of it in my business. I don't think I've said to you, but even the way that you and I spoke about the content crafting and sort of the phases that you take people through, I use that now to craft a lot of my podcast content, my blog content. What happens if you don't do it? What happens if you do it? Those kinds of questions, because you can see how it takes people through a journey really simply to really make sure that information you're trying to give them sticks,
Absolutely.
So, and I use that methodology in a lot of the way that I create content now. And again, I'm an architect. I wasn't a writer. I wasn't an educator, and you've helped me become both those things as well in my business.
So good to hear. And this is the thing, I guess, quality education, creating a quality piece of educational material or resources or whatever it is, it's not rocket science. Once you learn the basics, then they are skills that you can translate through to lots of different areas of your work, your business, your life. It's, I guess, and that's what I love doing, is working with professionals like you. You've got the smarts, you've got it all there. It's a matter of giving you some really quite, at the end of the day, they're quite simple, aren't they? Quite simple formulas that you can follow, and then some, so I guess some guidance and some insight into how to make this amazing content even more robust, even more action-packed, even more outcomes-driven. So not just giving people information, but then showing them how it's going to change their lives and what they can do with it immediately, so that they go away and actually take action straight away. So yeah, it's good. It's great to hear it, Amelia. It's reassuring in this sort of world of online courses, which can sometimes be quite lackluster and a little bit sort of, they fall short, don't they? It's so good to work with people who have got amazing content and then work together to actually make it more robust and make it really action-packed. And I mean, you can see the success now coming straight through. People like Deborah Hutton picking you up and running with you. I'm not surprised, because you're amazing at what you do and your content is phenomenal. So all success to you.
Oh, thank you. And you say it's simple and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think people should underestimate the difference it made to actually have you partnering with me. Yeah, you could follow a formula that you find online. You could have this described to you and then try and implement it yourself. But there was a real mindset shift for me in terms of actually having you inside my content, looking at it, and like every step of the way was productive because you were partnering me in getting it right the first time, whereas I would have done it on my own and I would have doubted it every step of the way. I wouldn't have delivered it as confidently. I wouldn't have been as present in the room. It just wouldn't have been the same. So yeah, you say it's not rocket science, but there's a magic that comes from actually having somebody who has your expertise inside your business, looking at your content and helping you frame it in that way. So
Thanks, Amelia. And it gives me all little warm fuzzies hearing that. But I think, thank you. And it's true, but I think it can be said for anything. You know, if I was about to go and do a reno, there's probably, you know, I'd stumble through, I really wouldn't know what I was doing, I'd make the wrong decisions. But when I've got someone like you by my side who's been doing it for 20 years, it's like with confidence, what do I do next? Oh, do this. What do I do next? Oh, this. And it's much like you, the way you and I work is very similar. You know, you're not a cookie cutter approach. You don't approach every client the same. And that's why you provide these other services, the Facebook group and the one-on-one personalized view. So yeah, follow these steps, but I'm here to help you step through the process. And that's where your 20 years of expertise comes in. You know, you can't buy that. You can't package that. Yes, you've packaged a lot of your knowledge, but your ability to look at the situation and know the best formula or answer or whatever it is moving forward, that's what you do best. So yeah, I guess it can be said for any professional, really. That's why you pay for their experience, because it's not just the time you spend with them. It's the 20 years of their experience that they bring with them to help you cut through the bullshit.
Saves you all of your time.
Yeah, and get there quicker, more effectively. Oh, I love speaking to clients like you. It just makes me feel like I'm really out there doing some amazing stuff in the world. So thank you for your time. How do people find you and how do people find your course?
So head to www.undercoverarchitect.com. .com.au finds me as well, and I'm Undercover Architect on all social platforms, and you can find the course on the website.
Awesome. Seriously, if you or anyone you know is considering a renovation, do not step foot outside the house without even at least looking at Amelia's freebies. She's amazing. She's one of these people who makes me keep doing what I'm doing because she's inspiring. All right. Well, thanks, Amelia. Thank you for your time and good luck with everything. Good luck with the Deborah Hutton angle. I know that's just going to go gangbusters for you. I'm really proud of you. So excited for you.
Cheers.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Awesome. Have a great day. See you guys.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.